Hi guys, so today's video is about a 23-year-old man who reports that during basketball he tripped and fell on his outstretched hand, on his outstretched right hand with palm facing downwards. Basically, wrist was slightly swollen and tender, but no deformities. He instructed his son to extend his right thumb, thereby accentuating the anatomical snuff box, which is extremely tender to deep palpation. So the main key points here are that he fell on his outstretched hand and with palm down. The wrist was slightly swollen and tender, but there was no deformity, and he was accentuating, and there is extremely tender to deep palpation at the anatomical snuff box. So there's a fracture to the scaphoid, which is one of the carpal bones. Why? Because there was a fall on the outstretched hand with the palm facing downwards, and there is extreme tenderness on deep palpation of anatomical snuff box with no deformities, which is important. If there are deformities, it could indicate that there is a displacement of lunate bone. A swollen area, which will indicate the inflamed area or the fractured area, and there is tenderness at the spot, which is common with most fractures, where there is tenderness at the point where the bone is broken. So a fall on an outstretched hand may also cause Smith's fracture or Colles fracture. Smith's fracture is basically when there is trauma to the dorsal part of the dorsal aspect of the wrist, which gives a spade-like deformity, or Colles fracture, which is trauma or fracture of the distal part of the radius. So what does the swelling indicate in a particular fracture? It basically indicates localized swelling or inflammation. There is an increased blood supply to that part of the body to aid in repair. Basically, there is vasodilation of blood vessels in the local area, which will also generate warmth in that area. These all will help in basically the repair of that particular broken bone. It's basically self-repair of the body. So why should we palpate the anatomical snuff box? So if there is extreme tenderness on deep palpation, that indicates a scaphoid fracture. If the deformity is noticed in that particular area, that may indicate displacement of carpal bones. In this case, if there would be any deformities noticed, that would indicate a dislocation of the lunate bone. I hope you learned something today about the wrist fracture which happened to this case. Thank you.